Don't start that.
Stop it. It's a really strange feeling, I guess. And I remember doing this, and I'm a nostalgic. I'm a little crybaby, so I'm certainly thinking about being here, like season 1, doing these, trying to talk about this new show that we hope will, catch on or something. And now being here and knowing we're saying goodbye to it, yeah, it's an interesting feeling. But I'm very proud of what's gone on, and I think we're gonna go out with a bang and have a great time doing what we're doing and remain, 100% committed to Dean Winchester and Sam Winchester and the story that we have to tell. So, don't call me on April 3rd because it'll just be so. But for now, I can hold it together.
Or this time next year when we're like, why aren't we working?
Yeah.
What happened to us?
Well, I'm going to be mowing lawns to pay my mortgage. So.
Well, it was interesting. We got a nice final season gift from Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. It was this this beautiful serving tray that had this beautiful inlay thing design on it, and I was like, oh wow, this is a very cool thing. Usually it's like a bag or it's a radio or something like that, but this is a very beautiful serving tray, and I was like, that's really beautiful. This is nice. I'm sure it'll look great in my home. And then I thought about it. I was like, are they just trying to get us prepared for
your next
introducing
job.
us back into the workforce?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, next year you'll be unemployed.
I'm like, oh God, oh no. I'm like, I got to figure out how to work like the Aloha system and the POS, and
I got to get an actual job.
I'm gonna have to get an actual job.
I don't have to wear makeup for a living anymore.
Favorite memories? There's been a lot. We'll go with.
There's been a lot.
There's been a lot.
In season 4, falling in love with my wife. I met when she was on season 4.
No favorite, not regrettable memories. Favorite. Sorry.
Most
Just
regrettable,
clarify.
most expensive memories.
Yeah. Things you can take back.
Yeah.
I remember that moment too. It was like I wish I'd had. I don't think. Did we have smartphones? We had smartphones back then.
I didn't. I had a
But they didn't have
Palm,
they didn't
Palm
have decent
Syndrome.
cameras back then. That's how long we've been on the show. But I remember she was sitting in her, the little cast chair, right? She was reading a book. And there was a perfectly good chair next to her that was empty, but he decided that he was going to sit cross-legged down on the floor in front of her like this.
I had to ask her a question.
Which, obviously, you want to get down close to on your knees. I mean, it was like...
Well, one of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody interrupts you when you're reading a book or something. Like if you're obviously,
So he got down, in her eye line, to where all she had to do was this.
Like, oh, hey, well, since you're here.
And I walked
Where are you
by,
from?
I'm like, oh, he's done.
He's done.
He is
Stick a fork
done.
in. Yeah, so
And
that's
wasn't
mine.
much longer.
Wasn't much longer.
It's one of my favorite memories too, was seeing that image, and then shortly thereafter, watching them.
What about you? What outside of that? Having your old man on the show, and remember what was the keyword twins for Spade, or what was the keyword of the day?
Yeah, the
Wheels Up or something.
It was twins.
Twins was
Twins.
the-
Yeah,
yeah.
my twins were like about to be born, and I was on set, 2,000 miles away, and needed to catch a plane, and so it was a mad rush to get me out. And I do remember. I don't know if this is a favorite memory, but it is certainly a massive memory. Because I was all ready and I was like going pale. I was like, I've got to get out of here. The plane's gonna leave. We got this one shot, and our director's trying to shoot me out as fast as he can. And then he comes up to me, he's like, hey man, you all ready to go? Is there anything you need? Is there anything that I can do to help? And I'm like, no, man, I think I got everything unpacked. I'm ready to go. Bags are in the car. All I gotta do is, he's just gotta say wrap, and then I'm hitting the car, going straight to the airport. And he's like, okay, you got your passport? And I was like, what kind of question is that? Of course I have my passport. You know where it is, but it's been in the same pocket in my backpack. It doesn't leave. Why would you ask that? He's like, I'm just saying, this is a pretty big day. You might want to go put your hand on your passport.
Go touch your passport.
Go touch it. And I'm like, okay. And then I went into my trailer, not there. And I'm like, okay, he took it. He's playing a prank on me. It's not unlike him to do this when stress is this high.
Yeah.
And so I was like, very funny. I'm going to need it back. He's like, I don't have it. And I quickly realized that I did not have it.
Yeah.
And we fixed it, but talk about adding stress to stress. So again, not one of my favorite memories, but certainly one of my biggest
vibrant.
memories.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of things that have happened throughout the course of the show, and it's been quite a ride.
They will.
I'm just gonna tell you this: when I got pitched the ending, it took me about 2 weeks to come to terms with it.
But I guess that would have
If
been
that helps.
true of any
That
ending.
doesn't like in a.
I don't know.
You can't just leave us on this. You gotta give us more.
You say plead the fifth. He's
Yeah.
pleading the fifth. The season leading up to the ending, we do know the ending where it stands now, but the season leading up to it is, we've opened a hole in hell, so we're going to see a lot of things we've sent to hell in the past. So we're going to have sort of a who's who and what's what of things that have been in our past, which is something that Supernatural can kind of uniquely do, and it's not jumping the shark because it's also usually fan favorite episodes, and our favorite episodes are when we kind of have a throwback. And then hopefully in the ending, and I'll say this, I'm not going to say the ending obviously, but I think any season of the last 14, if you were to ask what the finale was while we were filming episode 2, that's not what the finale ended up being. We're going to bob and weave, and Supernatural's always kind of been able to gauge the temperature and do what's best for the show and best for the story. But what I want for Sam and Dean Winchester, if the show is going to end, and it's going to, is for them to have some form of peace, whatever that looks like. If that's on a beach, great. If that's dead, great. If that's in space, great. If that's opening a bottle of bourbon or something, great. So any of the above. I would love to have Sam and Dean have some sort of peace that they have earned over
some sort of a resolve for it all. Not send them to Castle Black. It's like, come on.
We're in jail.
Not going up to the wall. Like
We're going to be in a
that's
diner.
not
It's just going to
peaceful.
cut.
That's
all of a
not
sudden.
good. Even though things might be horrible right now with the brothers. In fact, we even touch on that in the season, the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That let's look at all the good we've done. Look at it wasn't all for naught. We fought because we believed in it, and I think that's a part of the show that people connect with. The keep fighting, the fighting the good fight, the not giving up because the odds are stacked against you. And I think that this show it embodies that kind of resilience.
And I think Sam and Dean, much like Jared and Jensen, almost have this bit of, hey, we did good. Yeah, we did. All right, back to work. You know what I mean? Like they're still duty bound. They still have a job to do. They still are very determined, and
They're soldiers.
yeah, they're willing to sacrifice and put themselves at risk to help somebody else. Not that we're putting ourselves at risk, Jared Jensen, but we'll have these moments every now and again. We're reading through a scene, a trailer to memorize it, and it's like, man, this is crazy. Pretty cool. Yeah, it is pretty cool. All right, back to work.
We do put ourselves at risk a little bit, though. I mean, there was a couple of stunts that got a little.
Sure.
There was some broccoli soup that looked really bad.
Misha was there a couple times.
Yeah.
He's a strange guy, so.
Thank you.
I just thought about this a moment ago and shared it with somebody that, we may not have won awards, a lot of awards. We may not have things, covering our mantles of accolades that the show has brought us throughout the years, but walking out on that stage and hearing nearly 7,000 people applaud us, that was about as big of an award that we could have ever won in our lives. So that's why it was emotional.
It was very emotional. It still is. Think about it. If I can try to attempt to put it into words, what touched me is it didn't feel like they were clapping for me. It felt like they were clapping with me. Like it felt like that's been part of the SPN family. Is it hadn't been like, look at us, you're welcome,
No.
you're welcome. It's been like, why are you thinking?
It was
me?
a
Thank
celebration
you.
of what we'd all built.
It was a family affair of like, hey, I'm a cog in the wheel too. Like, we wouldn't exist without you. It's legitimate. We wouldn't exist without them, and I guess they as a fandom wouldn't exist if we didn't do what we did. So it felt like a communal, like, hey, almost like Sam and Dean, like, hey, good job. Thanks, man. Good job back at you. All right, let's get to work.
And do you guys have a like a message to your fans going into season 15?
Thank you. That's all I got.
Nothing ever stays dead in Supernatural.
If you love that video, you're going to love everything on the Access YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button. You can thank me later. Hit it.